Welcome to another TIPShot video from TIP Technologies. Today we're going to see how easy it is to perform a safety audit in TIPQA. Environmental health and safety, occupational health and safety, safety, health, and environment, no matter what it's called or what the acronym is, the safety discipline practiced at your location has the responsibility to identify workplace hazards, whether it be physical, chemical, radiological, or biological hazards. They're also responsible for ensuring the personal protective equipment needed to perform tasks is present and in good working order. To make sure any hazardous working conditions are identified, EH&S personnel will periodically perform safety audits to identify and correct unsafe working environments. The Audit Management module in TIPQA provides a method to create a safety audit type tailored toward those specialized types of audits. While inspection criteria with weighting factors can be created and associated to the audit by audit type, location, process, commodity, part, or part group, safety audits could best benefit from the location, audit type, and process associations, so the correct criteria is presented to the auditor depending on what or where the safety audit is being performed. Audits can be automatically scheduled, and email notifications can be sent to the author and the individual responsible for the area being audited. Audit records are available electronically online, and upon discovery of a finding, a corrective action can be generated directly from the audit module, importing key fields from AM to CA to increase speed and accuracy. Let's take a look at some of these features a bit closer. After providing credentials and logging in, click on the modules to the left to open the module drop-down list. Select Audit Management to get the AM menu item screen. The first step in creating an AM type for safety audits is to navigate to the Audit Type screen. You can create a new audit type by clicking on the plus sign at the top right of the screen. On the AM Type Setup screen, review the settings and align them with your procedures. A safety audit in an engineering lab might have different criteria than one for the cafeteria or the warehouse. This is where you choose which subtabs to show on the audit. Since EH&S audits are most closely aligned with a process rather than parts or commodity code, I'll choose the Process subtab. This allows criteria to be related based on process codes. Different processes would require different criteria. It's easy to add all the correct criteria for a location's process just by relating the process code for that location to the audit. The correct relevant criteria will automatically display to the auditor upon commencement of the audit. Process codes and criteria are examples of lists that can be set up by your module admin with names you're already using at your location. Let's see how this works. User-defined lists are a key feature in TIPQA. Process code is an example of one of those user-defined lists. Process codes are related to criteria through a process-to-common relation. Here, I've associated two common criteria, emergency equipment, and tripping hazards to the process code I've named Lab Inspection. Those common criteria are now associated with that process code. When an audit's scheduled, the Lab Inspection process code is entered and saved onto the Audit's Process Code tab. This relates a scheduled audit with the process code and through it, the criteria related to the same process code. When this audit is started, the audit module sees the process code Lab Inspection and pulls in those two criteria associated with that process code to be presented to the auditor. This will occur with any audit that references that process code. You can have more than one process code associated per audit, and as shown here, more than one common criteria associated to a process code. Now, what happens to this example if I decide to add another common criteria to this process code? Adding additional criteria becomes quite easy. You don't have to go and change each scheduled audit. All you do is associate the new common criteria with the process code. The process code to common relation will now pass on 3 common criteria when an audit is started that references that process code. It's an easy way to save time and have greater accuracy and control in maintaining your audit records. We created an audit type and associated criteria to a process code. Now you're ready to schedule the audit. Create an audit using the EH&S type, and because we configured it to have a process code subtab, you can now open that subtab and associate the process code or codes to that audit. Any additions or removal of criteria from the process code relation will appear when the scheduled audit is initiated. If this audit had been scheduled prior to adding a third criteria to the process code, when it came time to initiate the audit, all 3 criteria for that process code would be presented. When the audit date draws near, TIP can send notifications to both the person to be audited and the auditor so it started on time. Any findings discovered during the audit can be documented in a corrective action launched directly from the AM module. This is what the auditor will see prior to beginning the audit. Clicking the Preview Criteria button allows the auditor to preview the criteria prior to starting the audit. When started, each criteria is presented with the results portion at the bottom of the page for each criteria as it's selected. Audit criteria results are entered, in this case, pass or fail. A free-form text field is available to make any notes the auditor may deem appropriate. Upon failing a criteria in processing, clicking the Generate CA button, a new CA record is created in the CA module. AM data can be automatically pulled into the CA at the point of generation. Thank you for watching this tip shot on safety audits in TIPQA. To learn more about TIPQA, the QMS software solution, please visit us at www.tiptech.com.